People say you're being objectified is demeaning.
I have never felt that in the 5 years that I've worked in this industry. If I'm honest, in the past week, I've probably received some of the worst comments from women applauding this ban than I have ever received in that industry.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Ron Logan, and today we got to talk about what you just saw. Now, if you don't know what's going on, if you're not familiar with what's happening with the backstory of that short clip, I'll tell you. F1 Formula Racing, which is big over there in Europe, I think primarily in the UK, is where this story is emanating from. Grid girls have been banned from the actual racetrack. Now, what grid girls are kind of the equivalent of boxing ring girls. You know, they come in there and they hold up the numbers of the next round, you know, round 9, they hold up the big 9 or whatever. Maybe like cheerleaders in NFL, NBA. They come out there in their outfits. They may participate with the crowd. If you ever been to a professional basketball game, sometimes during the commercial breaks, you'll have them out there throwing stuff in the crowd. A lot of fan interaction. They may go around collecting charity money. Stuff like that is what they do. But primarily, they are eye candy, and that's fine. I don't see anything wrong with that. Many of the girls that do the grid girl stuff, cheerleaders, ring girls in boxing, they don't see anything wrong with it. They're cool with it. So I don't see why anybody else is upset with it. Now, some people on the outside, namely feminists, namely, in my humble opinion, jealous, unattractive feminists, or those that maybe have become jaded by the industry. In the debate that I got that clip from, I'll put that in the box. I would play the whole thing here and go through it, but that comes from Good Morning Britain, and I'm sure they're going to try to copyright claim it, so I can't play it here, but you got to see it. Occasionally I may post a picture of it here and there so you kind of see where I'm coming from, but it was a great debate because you had 4 ring girls against a so-called feminist who used to be a model. So I'm like, okay, you're mad at the ring girls, the grid girls, but you yourself used to be a model. So what's the difference? I don't really see it. And then actually her explanation when that question was asked was, well, they have male models as well. But the reality is male models are less prominent than female models are, because when you think of models in general, not just male, not just female, but models, who do you think of? You think of Tyra Banks, Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, what is that? Kate Moss, I think her name is, some of the newer models. I'm not really up to date with the new stuff that's going on. Chanel Iman, I think that's her name. Iman, the old school model who's married to David Bowie. You think about people like that. You don't think about anybody that's a male. Maybe Fabio. That's probably the only one you think of because he got pushed so hard. But that's the only one you think of out of everybody. And he might not even be a model. I don't even know. But I know that he was well known for being a handsome dude, being on television and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, she's trying to say, well, there's male models as well. But there's also male people that work as kind of like models in the racing industry. You don't really see them that much, the same way you don't really see male models that much. But at the end of the day, it doesn't even really matter if the industry of modeling in racing, in basketball, football, boxing, it doesn't matter if it's totally female dominated. The point is that these women want to do their job. They enjoy their job. And another argument from the opposing side that I've seen on different videos, there's quite a few videos about this. If I could round them all up and put them in the box, I will do that. But they all have some of the same arguments. And a lot of them maybe are past their prime of beauty. A lot of it is jealousy, to be quite honest, because a lot of the women that were against it, just look at them, you can pretty much judge them. I'm not necessarily going to judge everybody, but in this case, you got to do a little bit of judging, because judging is happening from these women who are hating on the ring girls, the grid girls, and the cheerleaders. They say, the opposing side, that is, the haters, they say that, oh, well, being a grid girl doesn't take any kind of skill. You should be out there driving. You should be out there being an engineer or something like that if you want to be involved with cars. But the girls are like, look, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a driver, okay? What I want to do is go out here, be pretty, be glamorous, and have friends, other girls that are doing the exact same thing. I enjoy doing that job. And many of the girls in the Piers Morgan kerfuffle, they had other jobs aside from being the grit girl.
I'm a business development consultant in the day, and I do this for fun and as a hobby.
What people don't really realize about cheerleaders in the NFL and other sports, they really don't get paid that much. Them doing what they do is more of a hobby, number one, and number two, it's a way for them to get a platform to do other things, to network with people. Because think about it, you are there on television all the time. You're dealing with people that got a lot of money. I mean, it's an opportunity for you to enjoy doing what you do, to have a hobby, and to do other things as a result of networking with other people that are going to be in proximity of you, being in the pro, NFL, NBA, racing, boxing place all the time. That's how it works. That's what they get out of it. And the girls that have other jobs, so of course, like I said, some of them may be working in business. Some of them may be an accountant, lawyer, or whatever. The feminists are doing what they say the men are doing. They say the men in these sports, or the spectators of the sport, which are predominantly men, judge them just based on their looks, and that's not fair. But the women are judging them based on their looks. They say, well, that's all they have to offer. They have no other choice but to just be eye candy. They're not giving them credit for having other interests and things outside of being a ring girl. Even if they didn't, it wouldn't matter. They shouldn't judge them like that. But the reality is that they do. They claim to be feminists, but they're not giving all women the luxury of being able to choose whatever they want to do. I thought that was the objective of feminism, to allow women to be whatever they wanted to be. No longer do you have women being placed in such a small box. It doesn't have to be, you got to be barefoot pregnant or whatever. You can do whatever you want. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom, that's fine. If you want to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, that's fine. If you want to be a grit girl, that's fine. If you want to be a truck driver, that's fine. If you want to be the president, that's fine. Okay? Whatever you want to do, it should be fine. The feminist women have become what they say that the men are. They've become judgmental. They've become controlling. Men, really, especially, and you're talking about sports, many of these men are very respectful. People talk about these women are not safe in their roles because you're in a highly testosterone driven environment. But the reality is these men are professionals. These are multimillionaires. They're not just going to go out there and just touch these women and abuse them. Far from it. Many of the women said in the Piers Morgan debate that they are treated very well. They're given the utmost respect. They have more opportunity in that field doing that than they would in an office job. Many times they may get actually harassed more in an office environment because they're not really seen as important. Okay, you got this boss or mid-level management type guy. He has you in his office and he's trying to say, okay, you want a promotion, you want actually $2 an hour or whatever, do X, Y, and Z for me. You're not really seen as important. But then when you're out there on the grid, in that environment, you're given more privileges, you're given a higher status so that girls enjoy what they do. Why should it be up to the feminists, myself, or anyone else to deprive these women of what they enjoy doing? It's really a shame because these grit girls in UK Formula One, they did get fired. Like they just abandoned the whole practice. You can't do it anymore. And what's next? Is it going to be cheerleaders that's next? Is it going to be the ring girls in boxing that's next? Is it going to be Hooters waitresses that's next? My thing is, as I close, I always thought that if you were a Hooters waitress, you had to apply for the job. It's been girls that have applied to be a Hooters waitress that couldn't get in. So, I mean, maybe, just maybe, you have biology at play here. I'll make this last point and then I'll just go ahead and wrap it on up. Maybe you have biology at play because maybe some girls enjoy being pretty. Maybe, just maybe, when you have little boys and little girls, you start to see behaviors in them and they diverge from a certain point. Prime example, when I was a little boy, what did I enjoy doing? I enjoyed playing with, monster trucks, Transformers, Ninja Turtles. I was a boy. I enjoyed having the nunchucks and swinging them around. I had a grenade. I had like a toy grenade with a little pop can on the top. So when I would throw it down on the ground, it make a big noise. I had little cowboy pistols and all that kind of stuff. I was a boy. Okay. And then as I become older, as a man, I still like those same things that I enjoyed back then, I enjoy now. Just as an adult, it just changes. Rather than just playing with little toys, now you may have the real deal, okay? That's how it goes. And the same thing with girls. When you see a little girl, what does she do? She clinging to her doll babies, combing the baby's hair, trying to put on lipstick with strawberries or some crayons or something. Girls naturally want to be pretty. They want to be princesses. They enjoy soft, cuddly things. That's just what they do. Okay. Now, there are some exceptions, of course, but the exception is not the rule. At a certain point, humanity is going to play a role, and you're not going to be able to override that with these jealous, washed up, out of touch, unimportant feminists who want to try and control what other women do to make themselves feel more like they are the normal ones, when the reality is they are the abnormal ones. If you are abnormal, it's fine. I don't got nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging you, but don't make your reality the absolute demanded standard for other people. So what do you think? Do you think that I'm wrong here? Do you think that the grid girls should have been banned in Formula F1 racing? Do you think that all the glamorous girl positions, models on the runway, cheerleaders in the NFL, NBA, ring girls in boxing, should all of that stuff be abolished? Should all girls just be put into one line of thinking like communist China, where you got to do one thing and that's pretty much it? You don't really have a whole lot of choice. Is that what we should be doing, or should we be going in a more positive direction to allow people, men or women or whatever you identify as, fairy gender, what have you? But I digress. Whatever you want to do for yourself, as long as you're not endangering people, go for it. If you want to be a truck driver, it doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you want to be a model, it doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you want to be a Formula F1 grid person, go for it. You might not be hired if you're a male because it might not be a big demand for you, but that's fine. You can still have that aspiration if you want to. I think people should have the freedom to explore the professions they want to explore, as long as it's not illegal, as long as it's not going to damage people, you know, as long as you ain't out there selling drugs or robbing people, stuff like that I'm against. But being the grit girl, I mean, come on. Girls, women have always wanted to be pretty, have always wanted to be glamorous. And the reality is they actually compete with each other about who's the prettiest, who has the best hair, the best nails, the best handbag, shoes. They look at each other and they kind of like compete based on that. And then we as men get the benefit of the result of the competition amongst women, because what you have is women that are pretty, that are produced from that. And we get to have those pretty women, or one woman, I should say, on our arm. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.
They can all go and do something else. They do it because they want to do it.
There's not
and now
enough
people
voices
like
in
you
this
want to
debate.
stop them doing what they want to do.